What's up, guys? Today we're talking about the two biggest misconceptions golfers have when it comes to their back pain. What's up, guys? Jeff PELIZZARO from 18 Strong, coming to you again from the pit here at Empire Fitness Academy. And today we're talking about the two biggest misconceptions that golfers have when it comes to their back pain. Let's face it, just about every golfer on the planet is at some time or another going to struggle with back pain. I know that I've had it. I've had it for, on and off for years, and until you start to figure out how to treat it properly, you'll never get past it. And what I see with most golfers is that they're doing almost the exact opposite of what needs to be done in order to really give themselves a nice, strong, solid back that's going to be able to repeat their golf swing without putting them on the sideline afterwards. So today we're going to talk about those two misconceptions, and then we're going to basically give you a core program, a strength training program that is going to be able to be done by any golfer, and it's been scientifically proven to improve the strength of your core and help stabilize your back. So the first misconception that I hear all the time is, Jeff, I have a bad back. My back is no good and it hurts every time I play golf. Well, the first misconception is that it may not be your back. In fact, many times it's not your back that is the problem. It's the fact that there's other body parts that aren't doing their job properly and are now forcing your back to do all the work. So if you think about our golf swing, there's a couple areas that we really need to move very, very well. We need to be able to rotate on our hips in order to get into our backswing, as well as get all the way through on our follow through, right? We also need to be able to rotate at the shoulders, at the trunk, at the rib cage area. The problem with golfers that have back pain is their back isn't supposed to be rotating. Our lower spine, our lumbar spine, is meant to flex forward and backwards, not rotate. So what happens is if your shoulders, your thoracic spine, your rib cage area, or your hips, or maybe even something down in your legs as low as down as your ankles, if those aren't rotating properly and don't have the range of motion that you need, all of a sudden your back then has to take up some of that stress. So if you're a golfer that tends to get into their backswing, their hip is tight, and then you start to overextend, you're putting a lot of extra stress on your back with some rotational force that is not good, and that's going to cause a lot of discomfort. What we need is to get these other parts moving. Now, that's a whole topic for another day on getting those different areas of the body moving, rotating well. But just know that it's not always your back that is a problem. Yes, sometimes there are disc issues, sometimes there are other things going on in the spine itself, but a lot of times those are more the result of something else going on, not necessarily the cause of your issue. All right, the second misconception that I hear all the time from golfers is I need to just get more flexible. I need to get my back to rotate better. Well, we already told you that the lower spine is not what is supposed to be rotating, right? But here's the thing. Our core, our spine is much stronger and more stable when we are able to brace properly. Not necessarily is it the case that we need to move the spine more. We actually need to be able to stabilize a lot more and let all these other things move. That's why a good, solid strength training program, core stabilization program, really working on more so even your endurance than pure strength of the postural muscles, of the core, the hips, the pelvis, all of those areas. That's going to be much more important to allow your body to move around while you're keeping the spine nice and stable and protected. Think of this example. Think of those big wrecking ball machines, right? You've got the big body that's solid as can be, and it's got this arm sticking off of it that's basically locked into place. That thing stays nice and solid and rigid. Think of that like your core. What rotates is the bottom part. You've got the treads, which would be like the legs. Then you've got this rotational component, which would be like the hips, that allows the body to swivel on. Our hips allow us to swivel, right? Then you've got the body that's nice and strong and solid. That's your core. And then it swings around this arm that has this cable off of it with this huge wrecking ball on the end of it. That's going to be more like your arm swinging around and then even the club. The more stable that cable car is, or that compartment is that the driver's in, the better. If that thing was all twisty and wobbly and had a bunch of rotation to it, it wouldn't be able to swing that arm with as much force and be able to transmit all the force through the ball that it needs to. Think of that as what your core is doing for your body in your golf swing. Now, I know that the stretching, when you're stretching your back and you're doing all these different things that feel like they're getting more motion, those can feel really, really good at that time. And that's because we have these pain receptors and these nerve endings that when you stretch that actually gives you a bit of a feeling of relief or decompression. But again, that's just going to be a temporary feeling, and it's not going to transmit over to your golf game and really over into stabilizing your spine when you're trying to rotate it at 100 plus miles per hour. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you 3 simple drills, 3 simple exercises that you can do every single day. Every golfer on the planet could do this every single day to create a much more solid and stable core to then create a nice, strong, powerful golf swing. So these 3 exercises were really compiled, and they're called the Big 3, most notably named by Stuart McGill, Dr. Stuart McGill. And he is kind of one of the pioneers of back pain and back stabilization exercises. The first one is what we call the bird dog. The second one is a side plank. And the third one is the curl up. You've probably seen most of these before, but I'm going to show you how to do them properly and in succession in order to really get the most benefit. For the first one, the bird dog, you're going to get in a position where you're on all fours, and I want you to find basically kind of that neutral flat position. So you can start out by doing a little bit of the old cat and camel where you're rocking back and forth, and you're getting a nice rounded back here, and then you're letting yourself arch, and then I want you to feel a little bit of tightness in the stomach to pull yourself into a nice flat position here. From there, you're going to take one leg and you're going to push the heel straight back. And I want you feeling your glutes here. Feel your glutes nice and tight, and then you're going to take your other arm straight out in front of you. Now the key is to hold this position for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, you're going to bring your hand in to touch the knee, and then you're going to bring the hand straight back out. And I'm going to have you do 6 of those in a row, all on this side. Hold for a full 10 seconds, and then you're going to touch again. You'll do 6 on this side, then you'll switch and do 6 the other way. Take about a 30-second rest, and then I want you to do another set of just 4 reps on each side. Take a little rest, and then another set of 2 reps on each side. And that'll be it for your bird dogs. All right, so the next one's going to be a side plank. For this one, depending on what you can tolerate, you can either do this with your knees bent, like so. The keys are keeping the elbow right under the shoulder, and then as you lift, you're going to come up so we're nice and straight here, and then bring your hips forward so you're in a nice straight line at the top as well. You're going to hold that for 10 seconds, just like the last exercise, and then you're going to go back down to the floor. Now, when you go back down to the floor, I don't want you to just be lazy and just kind of slouch. I want you to keep your chest up. Try to keep a nice, good, straight spine. Just drop your hips down where you keep this position here. And then you're going to go back up, and you're going to do your 10 seconds again. Same repetition scheme. We're going to do 6. Then we'll flip to the other side. We'll do 6 on the other side. Then you rest. Then you go down to 4. Then you rest. Then you go down to 2. Now, to make this a little bit more challenging, you can make the leg straight. Take your top leg, put it in front, and you're going to go right here. So now the weight is on the inside of my front foot and the outside of my back foot. And then you're holding 10 seconds here. This is just a little bit more challenging, requires a little bit more stabilization. Same thing with the hips though, you want them nice and straight here in your plank. So that's the side plank. Next we're going to do the curl up, which is a little bit of a different exercise, so pay close attention. Okay, for the curl up, This is primarily going to be working the entire core here. What I don't want is for you to flatten your back into the floor. And you're going to notice this is a very little motion. You're not going to see me move a whole lot on this one. So you're going to go on your back. We're going to bring one leg up, just kind of a bent knee, and you're going to take your hands and slide them right under your low back. That's going to prevent you from pushing your spine into the floor. It's going to keep a little bit of that natural arch in your low back. Now from here, I'm going to kind of tighten my stomach up, just a little tension, almost like somebody's going to drop something on my stomach. Just going to tighten up a little bit, raise the elbows, and then keeping my head in pretty much the same position that it is, I'm just going to try to lift my shoulders and my head off the floor just a little bit, just to there. And as soon as you do that, you're going to feel your stomach muscles light up. Not like a crunch where you're squeezing and getting really tight and you're lifting all the way up. This is just turning the muscles on, hold for 10 seconds if you can, turn them back off. The only thing I will warn you of, or one of the things I will warn you of, is that this might be hard on your neck if your neck is not strong enough. So there are some ways to get your neck stronger, which we can address in another video. But just right here, it's just barely lifting up, just enough to get the weight of the shoulders off the ground and the head off the ground, and then right back down. We're going to do the same repetition scheme of 6 of those, then rest for 30 seconds, then do 4, then rest, then 2. You don't have to worry about changing your legs. You can change them up if you want, but that's not the main intent of the exercise. It's more about just stabilizing the core and the trunk muscles and making sure that you're keeping your head in a nice neutral position and just lifting up a little bit off the ground. All right, there you have it. 3 simple core exercises that you can do every single day that's going to help stabilize your body, stabilize your core and your spine, to help protect you when you're trying to rotate and create all this extra motion. You need something that's going to be able to stabilize and keep you nice and strong in your midsection. These 3 drills, you can do these every single day. In fact, these are a great little add-on to any of the programs we have in the 18 Strong training app. You can go to 18strong.com, get a 7-day free trial, test out any one of the programs. We've got you covered on all the strength training, mobility, movement routines. This is just another little add-on if you need a little extra support or you know that you've had a lot of back pain in the past. All right, catch up with you next week. Stay strong.